This episode of Wrong Kinda Podcast is brought to you by Stevens Vending in Coffeyville, Kansas. They are the Southeast Kansas leader in full-line vending, micro markets that offer healthier options, and office coffee systems because who doesn't need a good cup of coffee to get through their workday? No business is too big or too small for their services. They offer the latest technology in vending and micro markets for both cash and cashless purchases, which opens the door to a wider variety of drinks, snacks, and food options at or below convenience store prices, but with added ease because they bring it to you. You can find them online at stevensvendingcorp.com or give Adam a call at 620-252-8257.
Handyman can cause he mixes it with love and makes the world taste good.
This segment of Wrong Kinda Podcast is brought to you by Southeast Kansas Eye Care Associates, a tradition of providing quality, convenient eye care services to the residents of Southeast Kansas for 50 years. Dr. Retley is board certified by the American Board of Ophthalmology and provides a wide range of services to patients of all ages. They would very much like to welcome you to their practice. Call today to schedule an appointment at 620-251-3235. They're conveniently located inside Coffeyville Regional Medical Center.
Obviously, you made a right turn, 'cause here's the Wrong Kinda Podcast.
I know it was you. I know it was you messing with my shit. So when you come over that one day and open the air, turn the air conditioner on.
I messed with everything. I moved everything just a quarter of an inch.
Doesn't even matter that we've had episodes since then.
Hey man, you know
Welcome
what?
to my world,
We're still
Nancy.
trying to figure out who killed JFK.
This is how my world goes. Who moved my stuff?
Who moved my shit?
Like literally no one touched it.
Yeah, right. How did it get over there?
You!
It was the night elves.
Yeah, that could be true around here. Between a kid and a dog. I don't understand why a kid and a dog are in the hallway 3 or 4 times a night.
They in there running laps.
I don't know. I don't have no idea. It's, I guess one of them's got to poop a lot, I
I
guess.
hear them maybe once.
Yeah, whatever. That's why I sleep where I can see the
She just doesn't know how to shut the door.
hostels. Yeah, you got to learn how
Quietly.
to unlock the door and close it. You know, it's
We don't ever have to worry about her sneaking out.
no.
Kabam!
Or the 14 LED halogen spotlights that are in the bathroom that shine right to where I'm sleeping. Yeah, it's some bullshit. Well, welcome to the podcast. So there's a fly in here.
Oh, I was going to say you brought the gnats with you.
There's a fly in here. I want to say hello to my No Agenda social friends. I've noticed that some of you have been listening. That's cool. I appreciate it. Make sure to go over to the website. That is WKOpodcast.com, and you can find all of these episodes, even the ones way back when the mic was jacked up. Actually, it was just that I didn't hit the button right. There's a fly, man. That's like those old tigers from World War II. Mm-hmm. You hear him buzz by. There he goes. He's probably gonna go over there and poop on that hat. He did attract flies. So anyway, we're gonna add some stuff to the website soon. We're gonna add a bio page because people need to know how great we are, and we're going to advertise ourselves.
Yeah, ever so humbly, of course.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
we're great people. Mm-hmm. And then eventually Yancey's going to have his dark corner that he's going to, I don't know.
Is that
he's
what we're
gonna-
calling it?
Yeah, Yancey's dark corner. That's what he said.
I
Did
mean,
you read that book yet about the fat guy?
that seems sus.
Michael Moore.
Oh, no, I'm still on the second book that
Oh, yes.
Megan
how's
gave
it
me.
going? It's the one focused on Michael Jackson, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're at that meeting last night. I just want to digress for just a second before I get back onto
Yeah, well,
the
that does nothing to what we were talking
promoting. Yes, it does. To promoting of the Value for Value program. So we went to that meeting last night. We'll talk about it here in a little bit. And there was this one guy we know that got up and spoke, and he did a great job. And Megan said, "Well, he did a really good job." I said, "Yeah, well, he reads and shit."
about. He was so well spoken.
He was. It's hard to believe he's in a rock and roll band.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, he probably even has a tattoo. Dirtbag.
What?
But anyway, so go over to the website. there's a couple of ways you can help us out. We're trying to get an air conditioner and improve the quality of our sound and all that good stuff. But so, by the way, moving forward, I've officially decided to call the Baron of the Conspiracy Theory. He is our wizard.
Okay.
He's going to be the only wizard.
I almost said something like, like what kind of wizard is he?
Well, see, so wizards, right? They deal in the the arts and the sciences and the magics, right?
Mhm.
Well,
Potions and such.
Yeah. So he's the one that's created our proclamations and
conjured it up.
He's been helping us out on lots of other ways. So, like Arthur had Merlin.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Baron of the Conspiracy Theory.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's there you go.
He's somewhere between Merlin and Harry Potter when it comes to wizardry, huh?
That's awesome.
I don't know. You need to ask him to see his stick. That's up to you.
No thanks.
So
His
anyway,
wand, do you mean?
yeah,
Nice
His
vernacular
stick.
there.
that is
His
a
magic stick.
So any stick can be a wand.
Yes.
True.
This is a pin now. I now proclaim that it is a wand.
Okay.
Oh, we're into that. It's your truth now.
Uh-oh.
No, that is the truth.
It is 2021.
Where do you think they got that damn wand? It's clearly a stick.
Well, you know what? In some circles, that
Here
stick
you
is a
go.
switch, and you get your ass
I was
whipped
getting
with
ready
it.
to say, your mom tells you to go get a stick. As soon as you get done with it, you think that's the moral authority of all things.
Right, that ain't no damn wand.
No, it's the. Where is it?
What?
I'm sorry. There's a fly in here.
Stop being distracted.
It's attacking Yancey. Look how fresh faced he is over there.
I see that.
Yeah. But anyway, so there's some ways you can donate on there, and one of them is the peasant plan. And somebody said, "Do you think that'll hurt somebody's feelings?" It was actually the wizard. The wizard's
it's
like
shaming
the
people into
wizard's like, "You
donating
think
more?"
that'll shame?" But Megan has an idea.
I do. So I think that all of you out there who want to, call out your friends a little bit.
You want to help, but your
Yes.
friends don't.
Right,
Right,
sure.
you're like,
So you
peasant.
can donate some money. It's just $1.
It's $1, yeah, a
and,
week.
and you can do it in honor of your friend who we will then call out.
And you can give them
As
a
a
name.
peasant.
You can give them a name, like we'll just say it's Peasant Yancey. They'll know. Or if the person gives us a code word to use the peasant, that way the peasant will know that we're talking about them.
Yeah, peasant shitbag or something, Yeah.
That's the lowest of all peasants. You shitbag. No, I am the one that shoes the horses. That is my cousin.
Jeez.
Shitbag of the Shire.
Shitbag of the Shire.
And
Suddenly we're in Lord of the Rings.
And we've only had 2 beers. Two drinks.
Oh, I was like, really?
I can't
We're
wait
too
to try
beers.
this.
Hold on, we're getting ready to.
Try this purple stuff.
So anyway, go to the website and help us out. And we might have some guests on here in a few weeks. And maybe next year on the air conditioner, we'll be running the whole time and we won't be sweating.
And
Yancey-
you won't know.
And you won't know. Yancey, tell us what we're drinking. We're going to try something new here.
Sing Sing Sour Grape. Did you hear
it's
my
sour
Did you hear
grape?
my throat tighten as I read it? Johnny Bootlegger. Here's the ingredients: malt beverage with natural and artificial flavors and artificially colored. Those aren't exactly ingredients, I guess.
I
but,
feel like they've rebranded Mad Dog.
Yeah, I mean the color.
kind of-
It looks like grape Kool-Aid.
When you poured it out, it had a blue tint. It looked like Smurf
Yeah.
piss.
Smurf.
But it smells.
Why would you say
Here
like
you go. Hold on. Can you?
Smurf blood?
It smells exactly like grape Kool-Aid.
It does, and if it
But it's
tastes
12% by volume
like
too, though.
that.
Here we
You
go.
guys tell me that it's sour grape?
What-
and it is simply called Grape Shot. Boy, I tell you what,
That's good
That's
shit.
that will
grape
get you in
Kool-Aid.
trouble.
Hey man, go ahead and hook me up.
Oh yeah,
Go ahead and fill her on
we're
up there,
getting
son.
ignorant here, huh?
Well, we got some stuff to talk about. We got a lot of new people listening this week too.
And
You said fill you up.
That's
I mean,
good.
it's okay.
Well, the glass.
Feel you up.
You want some more of that, Megan?
no, I'm
Okay.
going to switch over to my Moscow Mule over here.
Later on, Yancey has something else we're going to try after the break. For those of you that are new here,
I don't know if we are going to try this.
so those of you that are new here, because there has to be a few of you new, we usually take a break to turn the air conditioner off to fight the moistness in here, which is why we ask you to donate at the website. That is WKOpodcast.com. Anyway, So, what do you want to talk about first? There's all kinds of local stuff,
Hey,
or
let's-
you can talk about national stuff and
All
get
the
to that,
stuffs?
or whatever you want to do.
Let's delve right into the locals. You mentioned the meeting already. How about segueing into that?
So I will tell you what happened here. So locally, never mind. So locally, there's a tax hike thing going on. It's that way everywhere. Mm-hmm. But we live in a rural community that
A dwindling.
it's a
rural.
very yes,
Right.
a very much a dwindling rural community.
I can't say that word. Rural.
So really what it comes down to is the elected officials are being asked to maintain the current services that we all get and we've all come to like. But to do that, the city of Independence has decided they was going to post in the paper, and this was kind of a shady deal. And I get what they did. They had to do this. So the state set up a new law and said, hey, if you don't get the budget out into the public notification, which is a newspaper, by a certain day, you can't exceed that limit. So what they did is they threw a monster number out there. They was going to raise taxes 15.5%. But
Got
then-
people's attention. That's for sure.
They got people's attention. But then at the meeting, they come back real quick.
Yeah.
And we had a large group of folks up there. Me and Megan's in attendance. You were watching on stream, which I'm glad you did that, so
Right.
you could actually talk about it.
Yeah. City staff reevaluated those figures.
Right.
Fuck yeah, they did.
And they cut it way down.
So
But
what?
apparently not enough.
I don't know. Sorry, people. I hit the button. But yeah, I got some notes here. Let's see. And they was valuing things off. They'd give you an example, you know. So what they said it was for an $80,000 house, which they said the average house in Independence is averaged at $80,000 value, which that got quite the
Really?
chuckles out of
Yes,
the crowd.
a lot of laughing up there.
So for an $80,000 house, that is $2.30 a month, or $27.50 a year, and a $100,000 commercial property, that's $625 a month and $75 a year. I have never quite understood why business has to be punished. I've never understood that.
Right.
Why they're taxed at a higher
Well,
rate.
everything's different. When we opened up the gun store,
I know.
it
Everything.
was, and I'm going to use just simple numbers because it's easier that way. Let's say you pay $25 for your internet cable from Cox Communications. Well, I told them, yeah, what are you doing? I'm like, well, we've got a gun store down here and we need to open. Oh, okay. And they told me how much it was. And I said, whoa, I got the exact same service at home and it's like half the price.
Well,
They
you
said,
filthy capitalist, you're trying to make money.
I said, well, the difference is that you're first on the list. If there's a problem, we come out and fix it.
Oh, is that what it is? They expedite you to the top. Huh?
I'm like, oh, you know, I can be third on the list for half the price. I said, hell, never mind. I just want the fucking. What happened to your
broke the
bell?
bell.
The bell went
you
flat.
sabotaged the bell. Like, fuck that bell.
But there
There
you go.
it
It had
is.
that hose on it. But anyway, I never have understood why business gets punished. You know, the evil
it is.
businessman.
Right. Well,
So-
and you were trying to sell guns. I mean, double whammy.
Yeah. It is what it is. But so up there, they were giving out all these figures, and they went all the way through. Like if it's a $35,000 home,
Yeah,
it
they
costs
went all the way
this
down,
and
yeah.
this and this, and
So what they always like to sneak in, a lot of people don't pay attention to, and this one guy, he alluded to it, and if you paid attention, they even said something about it after the meeting, which 3/4 of people left as soon as they closed the meeting, and that's
The
when the good
hearing, yeah.
and that's when the good stuff started.
Yeah, I
you know?
got something about that here in a little bit.
So this one guy got up there and said, I've been living in the same house for 20 years. It has the same siding on it. Nothing's changed, but my property tax is double what it used to be. Well, later on, they addressed that and said, well, you know, the value of your house goes up. We talk about this about the last 2 weeks now. Value is based upon supply and demand. If more people are leaving the area, how is the hell the demand of the house has
Right.
caused the value to go up?
Exactly.
a lot. I don't know how your guys' did last year, but ours jumped up, and we were
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what? We didn't do anything last year.
Ours have gone up every year since we bought our house. I think we're in our 7th year living in our house.
Yeah.
And,
And the
man,
population goes down every year.
yeah.
How is that? Businesses leave,
Maybe-
people leave, your value of your house goes up.
Maybe they need to go back to school and learn a little bit about the supply and demand
Well,
and budgeting and.
I know exactly what they're doing. They've,
sure,
They've
I get
got
it.
to make more money.
I get that, but in the whole grand scheme of things, it just doesn't. It doesn't mathematically add up.
Right. Well, and in simplistic terms, whenever people move out and there's less people living here, of course your taxes are going to go up by default, I guess.
But
that
then-
still doesn't justify your taxes going up to reflect services and
Right.
inflation like they want you to think either.
But then you have this cycle that starts. The taxes go up, more people leave because the taxes are too high. And last night there were so many people, I'll go to blah, blah, blah.
I moved to Oklahoma, damn
Yeah, okay. But it's like all you people who were going to leave when Trump was president. He's still here.
Right.
So, but it is a cycle. And then, some people do leave. And then your taxes go up because there's less of you. And then more people leave. And at some point, you've got to reach like this.
Actually, by
Impasse.
those people leaving, they actually put more burden on those that are left.
Right.
Yep.
So, it doesn't. I understand their desire to have less taxes, for sure.
The wizard's going to give us a bottle of bacon soda next week to try.
Oh,
Not
bacon.
baking soda, bacon soda.
Bacon,
Huh?
Oh, I see.
Bacon soda.
Man, he posted that ranch soda, and I was like, oh my God. I don't think I could do it. I could draw the line there.
No.
Somebody asked last week after the show, they thought we were going to allude to how a mill levy works. So I thought I would just explain that.
Yeah, go
real
ahead,
quick.
because you put me on the spot. I have to pull up how it works.
So this is how a mill levy works. Sorry. Be a little slow here.
What do you
Okay,
expect?
so budgets are calculated in terms of mills. 1 mill is equal to $1 for every $1,000 of a property's assessed valuation. The total volume of money needed to fund a budget through property taxes is based on a community's total assessed valuation. Since we're talking about Independence, we'll take Independence for example. The estimated assessed valuation for the city of Independence in 2021 is 47 million, blah, blah, blah. Therefore, 1 mil would generate 47,000, blah, blah, blah. So
they're trying to jump up to 58 point.
right. So they're
something
almost
mil.
valuating the city for $11 million more than what it actually is. So they're actually,
and how does that work?
I'm not sure because I literally just mapped out what a mill levy is. How do you justify jumping the mill that much?
So I always use, I just went through this today, and people won't understand unless I give the whole story. It's pretty quick. When I was a kid, I used to draw railroad tracks and roads and ponds, and then I'd
Sim City before it was made.
I drew
'Cause he's
things
that
on a
old.
piece of paper. I thought that I wanted to be a civil engineer when I was a kid before I got introduced to marijuana and alcohol. Well, then when Sim City came out, I was like, holy shit, there's what I used to do, when I was a kid. Well, then as I got older, I'm like, wait a minute, I can become a commissioner and actually be the guy on Sim City helping, move the city, do things. So I always use that Sim City as an example, and you can make fun of me if you want, but to me, it seems Sim City has the little bars of happiness and what you need.
Right.
How does the value of a town like Independence go up if you've got glaring holes in what used to be there? You don't have a hospital. That devalues the community. It just does. You can't tell me it doesn't, because if somebody's going to move to town, you want to look and see what you got. How is your schools? Whatever. I don't know how independent schools are. I have no idea. Don't have a hospital. Well, that's not fucking good. You got a clinic.
No, I mean-
you got a clinic and an emergency room, but you don't have a hospital.
Just that on face value will deter a lot of people.
Yeah. So what I can't get is, how does the property values go up? And they're just blindly making them go up. There's somebody out there appraising that understands we need more money.
Well, people that want to raise taxes are always like, well, the taxes reflect you living in a civilized society with all the amenities. You just named a couple of amenities that any town should have that they don't.
Yeah. They don't have it. And their roads are shit, just like ours are down here. But once again, I have to give a little bit of props to the city of Coffeyville. They've been pretty frugal over the years. I think they understand that there's just not...
There's not enough to go around.
There's
I
just
mean,
not that much juice left in the old pickle, man.
Yeah.
And you just keep squeezing it, and eventually you're not going to have much left.
we can bitch and make fun of the streets all we want, but imagine what we would have to pay if they repaired every street in town.
Well, that was a thing back when I was on the commission. They said, man, you only repaired like 2 or 3 streets, and then the rest of them that you did, put that thin layer of shit on there. I said, here's the decision I had to make. Do you want multiple okay, good streets, or do you want 2 or 3 badass streets? Mm-hmm. Because you're not going to get a whole bunch of badass streets. You're going to get 2 or 3 really nice ones. And then everybody bitches about, well, what about 9th Street? They redid 9th Street, and that's not even a high deal. So to make sure we all go back to the city of Coffeyville's 9th Street project they did a few years ago, that was a grant that had to be used in a income-based situation. And that area happened to fit the criteria for the income.
Yeah. Well,
So-
at the same time, let's not pretend that Coffeyville doesn't have some absolute crap streets that have been neglected.
You
that-
just drove through a 3-story pothole pulling into my driveway, didn't you?
Yeah.
That thing is a beast,
well,
man.
and I thought when I moved to town that I wouldn't have to put up with gravel roads anymore, but I got one over by my place. But, however, I was informed at the last commission meeting that I missed, obviously, that got approval, so that will
Yeah.
be getting repaved soon.
Yeah.
But I think that made the joke that they tore up the street and laid down gravel, and now the gravel road has potholes too.
Oh.
Tell you what, man, I don't know. There's a lot of delay. in
It's
some
rough.
It was really interesting last night to hear. I mean, first off, I am so impressed with the people of Independence for showing up.
Oh, yeah.
And then not just sitting there, but willingly getting up to speak. I mean, Justin and I have, from experience, we always tell everyone who comes to us with any kind of issue, even now, I mean, we get questions all the time. I need this, blah, blah, blah. Well, have you gone to the commission meeting? Have you gone to the school board meeting?
No.
Have you gone to, whatever meeting? No.
Oh, I got time for that shit.
Yeah. And then, so go. We both know that if you are looking at the people who are opposed, there's a much higher percentage of chance that the vote's going to go the other way, that you're going to listen to them.
Right.
Ironically, that did not go that way last night.
Well,
I was
Yeah.
blown away that they didn't even hesitate.
No,
Yeah.
didn't even table it.
I
I
wanted
figured
to-
they was going to table it.
I wanted to make a point on that, though, and I wanted to ask you about this.
Here, point.
being a point of personal privilege, please.
I think that guy spoke the other night.
Let's not use gendered language. After everyone left, the vote was held
Yeah.
Yes.
to allow the city to exceed the revenue neutral rate. They didn't vote last night to approve the
Yeah, it's
budget,
they just
but-
threw it out there.
Yeah.
We can just exceed it.
right.
And they didn't even really, there's no limitation now, is there?
Well, they can go up to what they put in the paper,
Yeah.
58
right?
or
A 54.
no,
point
that's
that-
what it already is. So now they can go up to 58 something or
We may be wrong, and if we're
60,
wrong and you're at home right now saying that's not the way it is, send me an email, wkopodcast@gmail.com. But anyway, I think what it was is they had to get that legal documentation out in the paper, legal notice.
Yeah.
And I think they can go up to that, but in the meeting, they claim they're not going to.
So you think that was some grandstanding, them
Well,
putting that in the paper like
no,
that?
it's so
CYA.
I got a little bit. Yeah, that's what it is. I got a little bit of experience here. You've got to put out what you want, and you can go up to that. You can always come down, which they say they were last night, but you can't go up. So they tried to cover their ass and hope that maybe nobody showed up, nobody give a shit, and we'll hire a couple more police officers and we'll do a bunch of things like that. But people clearly showed up and said, no, dude.
Yeah.
still didn't matter. They still said yes.
I had something to book in my question here. Do you think it would have made a difference had people stayed for the actual vote? Because there was a mass exodus after the public comments portion of the meeting. What I mean is, do you think the commission would have been maybe not intimidated by a room full of disgruntled citizens at the actual time of voting? But like we've said before, when you actually have people there staring you in the face, it's a lot harder to make a decision.
No, I don't, honestly, I don't. It
I think
their minds were already made
It
up.
was so
So packed.
quick. It was so quick, their decision. And there was literally no discussion, no hem-hawing. There was not even a little, hey, I'm going to say this in case anybody wants to back up or table. There was they could have easily just tabled it to the next meeting.
Well, you said they started the meeting and immediately went into
So,
executive session.
Yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit. And I know exactly what they did after, they came back in. I was paying attention to what they were doing. I got a little experience here, and we've even done this to a certain degree. So the agenda said the first thing they was going to do was they was going to have this public hearing about the tax. But I noticed there was some local dignitaries that were there, the leaders, air quotes, of the communities were there. And they had some business to do. They was going to make a deal. They had some trade secret. When they say stuff like that, trade secret, that means that they're either doing some business with somebody or they're going to make, whenever they have a private entity do business with a municipality, your business is still private. Mm-hmm. So they have to go into executive session and discuss some things because you still have the right to privacy. So anyway, they went ahead and had that quick little executive session meeting, which was 30 minutes long, but it looked really piss poor because you got a whole bunch of people that are pissed off there. And then suddenly, hold on, we're going to go into executive session,
Right.
Which is clandestine,
Right, because it gives the perception that your disgruntled citizenry is sitting there, and it's like these guys are going back there to formulate a plan to come out here and combat stuff that we have to say to them.
And if you didn't know what they were doing, you might have thought that. And
Right,
I guarantee there's
exactly.
somebody that probably thinks that right now.
Exactly.
So like I said, I've had experience in that in the past. It's when we know there's going to be a topic on there that's a long discussion. It wasn't even a room full of people. It was just going to be a long discussion with commissioners. And we said, hey, let's move up and do this and take care of this because there's about 20 people here that want to talk about that. And so that way they can get home and they can go on home because we're going to be here till probably 10 o'clock jacking around with this stuff. Last night, to me, they should have just,
Went along with the schedule.
hey, guys, you understand we got a room full of angry people here. And the majority of the people were here for that. There was only like 5 people that were there for that. And you know what? As soon as it was over, they shagged ass.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
It's
they
really,
sure did.
You said a mass exodus, and there was still a lot of people left. I mean, that room was so full last night that they ended up removing the back wall and
opened her
filling up into the
more
like
chairs.
the four-year area.
Well, there was a steady line of people talking for 45 minutes.
Yeah, I
was a
mean, there was a
hour
couple of
almost.
dozen people you would think, that,
Yeah.
20, 24 people.
And there was not one in favor of the tax. Not
No.
one. I figured
No.
there'd be one person.
There was
Not
one
even
guy
the
kind of
police
walked
officer.
the fence a little bit. He said, I understand that you have to have taxes, yada, yada, but I'm still not in favor of this. He sounded like maybe he was
I
going to
know.
go
At
on the
first,
other
I was
side
like,
for a
"Whoa,
second.
that's brave."
Yeah.
And then he didn't.
But I wrote some notes here as I was listening last night. One commissioner noted, quite condescendingly, I
Yeah.
have to say, well, I guess people said what they wanted to say, but weren't interested in what we had to say.
And that's very true
I
statement.
mean, it is, but
They walked.
I mean, I gotta say those. I realized that they were getting their asses handed to them a little bit last night, but those guys acted like they were a little perturbed, maybe, and
How
like
dare
they,
you question us?
right, and like they'd been hearing about it for a long time, but from the residents before then.
to be fair, a lot of the folks that were there
Mm-hmm.
don't even live in Independence.
Yeah,
I mean, there was people in there explaining to where they lived, and they lived closer to Oklahoma than they do to Coffeyville.
right. Well, you have to understand there's a lot of city staff behind those decisions too. It's not just those
yeah.
2 commissioners and mayor up
Yeah.
there taking the ass chewings
Yeah.
from the people. There's
Right.
there's city staff.
I've been telling for years that the city staff run the show. You can say what you want.
Mm-hmm.
They really do run the show.
Yeah,
They have a lot of influence.
You're just a mediator as a commissioner, basically up
To
there
some
taking
degree.
all the free ass
Just
chewings
so-
you can handle.
Now you can sack up and say no, but
clearly these guys did not.
It said right up there recommends this.
Mm-hmm.
When the staff presents something, they will recommend. So what they're saying is this is what they recommend you do.
Right.
And I'm not talking shit on them personally, but that's what it says. We recommend you do this.
And I'm not trying to give them a pass either by saying that.
No.
But because those commissioners said we've taken this into consideration and we've spooled over this and we've
they've
taken
been-
into consideration the hardships
They've
and
been
the
talking about it for weeks, probably.
yeah, no doubt.
If they don't all get voted out after that many people showed up in opposition to this whole tax rate, and not even really the tax rate per se, just it wasn't even about the budget yet. In fact, I told Justin when we first got there, I'm like, that they're just going to push this down the road, and these people are going to have to keep showing up every time because they're going to sneak it in at some point.
Well, they're having
And they
another
didn't.
hearing September 9th.
But that's their actual budget hearing, and
Right.
those people should show up again.
Exactly.
And, once again, they can turn it down.
They should show up again.
They have to vote on the budget. And you've got to vote on a budget by a certain time because, unlike the federal government has made a law that state and local municipalities have to have a balanced budget, which is hypocrisy of
Goose
a whole.
and gander shit.
Yes, yes.
Jesus Christ! But
The
they can still
other-
vote it down.
The other thing I wanted to say about last night's meeting, we were pulling through a fast food restaurant afterwards because we were starving.
And Megan's order was wrong.
It was
think so.
actually. Yes,
Was
it
it?
was. They didn't have a Diet Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. There was no Diet Dr. Pepper, but it was meme worthy. Really, how do you know that you're at a meeting with a bunch of boomers, as Justin called them?
Oh, Brahms.
No,
No.
Oh.
No,
their phones.
phone after phone after
Dude,
phone.
I said that last night too while I was watching it.
I mean, we sat at a table with, I hope she's not listening, a woman who literally answered the phone in the middle of the meeting and told them, I'm in a meeting, but go ahead.
It's okay. I can talk. Actually, you can't.
Jeez.
You can't talk. So
I almost wanted to give a demonstration.
a lot of the
Little
stuff.
button on the side.
Right.
So one of the things that frustrates me is decorum and etiquette of these meetings and people's lack of it, understanding how it works. You know, you're taught to be respectful your whole life. Even if you don't like the situation, you be respectful. If it's that damn bad, everybody else will join you, then you'll probably, your outbursts will be okay. But I felt like we was at a damn Merle Haggard concert.
Oh my gosh.
Because it was like, hell yeah, amen. Praise
Yeah.
the Lord.
They were all clapping
Go,
after every.
brother. They were clapping after people.
Yeah.
You don't clap when people just come up to present a budget.
Right. it's like clapping after somebody sings at a funeral.
Yeah.
You know?
God damn. But anyway, and then after, the way this shit works is, they close the public hearing. The public hearing's open. Everybody can come up and say whatever they want, but then they close the hearing. That means that you can no longer speak.
You
Right.
shut up, and they talk,
And everybody's leaving.
and still talking.
And still talking like they
know.
just left the movie, checking out, hey, what'd you think about that movie?
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's the end of a concert and they're all just milling out to the parking lot. There's still a good hour and a half of meeting here.
Exactly.
The
And
meeting's not over.
And the one commissioner actually took out time
Hey,
and paused the
guys,
meeting and
could you
said,
shut
hey,
up?
we're trying to conduct a meeting here.
But the one that stuck out to me the most is as they're having their discussion before they vote, a lady in the back just starts talking, and somebody said, hey, the hearing's already closed. Well, then another guy, hey, somebody's trying to address you.
Oh, God.
Well, you had an hour and a half.
And they called for. I mean, how many times did they say anyone else? 3.
It's just,
Anyone else 2?
damn it, nobody's going to respect you if you act like you have no morals.
Yeah.
I don't know, just you show up to one meeting every 5 years to by God and all that shit. Where are you at all the rest of the time? That's when the real information's gathered.
Well, you can kind of understand the perception of the public sometimes in that sense. Whenever you got people coming in acting like they don't have sense.
Don't have sense.
Yeah, there was a couple of other highlights I wanted to point out from the meeting last
Just going to
night.
bash the hell out of everybody.
So, are you talking about me?
Just all of us.
No,
Hey,
there was-
I said I was proud of them for showing up and
yeah,
speaking.
they did a
no,
good job in
the-
general.
the-
There's a few dumbasses.
there's no bashing here. One person brought up the colleges. You
And I
know,
want to talk about that. Yeah.
one gentleman said, "Stop this shit."
Oh yeah, S word was dropped.
First,
Oh yeah, and then everyone got a lecture.
first person to speak after the commissioner, conducting the meeting, literally laid out all of the rules.
all
Yeah.
the HI.
Yeah, clear up to I or J.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
the
Well,
rules,
they knew.
A through J, and his
knew.
very last word was shit. And so the commissioner was like, "I want to remind you of statute blah blah blah
I was
blah
like,
blah."
how many times are we going to have to hear that
good
tonight?
Lord,
I thought it was going to be that was setting the tone.
I
me
thought it
too.
was too. I figured we were here going, in store for a bunch of F's and S's, but and then I don't know. There was one lady that got up and she was talking about the lack of jobs and independence. I thought that was pretty funny because everywhere I go has a help wanted sign
Everywhere.
in the window.
Everywhere.
Everywhere
So
literally has
I
jobs.
thought that was pretty silly.
That's true. I thought about that last night, especially. I know a lot of people lost their jobs because of COVID, but I also know a lot of people could get jobs now because of COVID. People just aren't going back to work.
Right. Also wanted to bring up the fact that Independence constantly is shitting on Coffeyville, but suddenly we have the cash cow down here.
Cow.
You know, that our town's so great because we have the refinery out there.
Cash
and that's,
cow.
dude, that's why we are just busting at the seams with Kizash.
Oh, yeah.
And we and our taxes are so low and our town's staying afloat, man. We got the cash cow out
Shit,
there.
yeah. We are the,
God,
we're the gold standard of the county.
I busted up, you know. It's just so funny.
Justin,
how
I don't know. I don't know that we were the only coffee people there, but we were like,
oh, really?
it's so convenient, you know. The Independence is always
Cash
dumping on
cow.
us down here, and you know we got the cash cow down here.
That's all right.
and they copy us on everything.
Do
Yeah.
that.
One guy
hey,
said last night.
There,
That one guy said,
Oh, whatever
"Well,
Coffeyville do, we have to do too.
He did say that. Well,
He
they
did.
they are getting a scooter soon, apparently.
And,
so
they,
there's
and, they're
yet another
remodeling,
thing.
and they're remodeling their city hall. The whole time I was
Yeah.
on the commission, I never once was at a commission meeting in the actual city hall. It was at a picnic table, just like them old boys in a civic room.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that they did beat us to, they got their Arby's renovated before we did. Theirs finished
shit.
a couple of weeks ago, and they're just starting on.
So they
ours,
got the
so-
meat early.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they got the meats.
So let's talk about this college deal real quick before we take a break, because it's starting to get moist up in here. So we, it's been the hot topic at work, of course, because there's a Facebook
Why?
page.
Oh.
Well, there's a Facebook group.
like
and-
there's nothing happening here."
No, there's nothing happening, best I can tell. But anyway, we still need to get rid of one of these colleges, or we need to consolidate them. That's the two things. Either get rid of one of them or consolidate them. So I pointed out to somebody, so, if you just get rid of one half the county is still paying taxes, right?
Uh-huh.
And clearly this person didn't understand that. And I said, if we get rid of Independence's college, your taxes don't go down because the southern half pays for Coffeyville and the northern half pays for ICC. Brett even said he lives east of Cherryville and he pays for Independence.
Right.
So that does nothing for us. And like I've been, harping all week, what we're really talking about, the college costs you nothing, really. Nothing. What you're talking about is the people that run the college and that work in the college. So when you're saying, I want to get rid of a college, what you're really saying is, I want to get rid of, let's say there's 100 people that work there. I don't know how many people work there. That's what you're really saying you want to do. You want to get rid of those jobs. Now, if that's really what we're talking about.
It's like any other company that would leave town.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about. Let's just cut right down to it. So do you think either city of Coffeyville or Independence, Cherryville or Caney, because you know that everybody has somebody that's related to somebody
Yeah.
that works there, and then they have voters. You think they're just going to be like, yeah, fuck it, get rid of it?
Not willingly.
Fuck
They'd
no.
never relinquished their college. Like,
Hell
yeah,
no.
we're just going to offer up ours. You
There
know?
it is. See you later.
Yeah.
And then let's say they do get rid of it. Do you think the city of Independence or Coffeyville or the county or whatever other tax entity we got around here is just going to go, well, hell, there's 3% tax sitting there. We don't care about
Boom.
that. Them some bitches are going to be
Well-
all over.
Well, and
Their taxes aren't going to go down. That money's just going to start going to the other college.
I was going to
left.
say that the other college is going to absorb the rest of that. Because they're like, hey, we got all this money sitting out there.
That's what I'm saying.
We'll just let the one college absorb it all.
Somebody's going to go after it.
Or we
college.
talked about this last week too. They make Independence the CCC satellite campus, like the CCC
Tech
Science
campus or whatever.
Tech. You know,
So
yeah.
that kind of leads into a guy that I was talking to today who said he was going to donate. Quack, quack. He'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But anyway, he said, and I think he's completely right. God damn, I said it on, it's on here. The only way this actually works is if you put the colleges together and you really try to make it one hell of a system. Like, really pump up the tech side of it. I don't think going the 4-year college route that everybody talks about is the way to go.
No.
We've got too many of those, and I think the state will only charter so many 4-year colleges, right?
I don't know about that, but I do know that our junior colleges really funnel into our 4-year program. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
So I think it would
These
be...
are kids who sometimes
Then you get booster.
they need to get boosters. Sometimes it's, and we talked about this last year, the benefit of, somebody said, well, there's no benefit to this community. Yeah, there is. Every kid who graduates from
Yeah.
a college within Montgomery, or from a high school within Montgomery County,
It's
has
also
tuition paid.
it's
I
also
mean,
jobs.
It is jobs. And you're actually, I mean, more than just jobs of the people working there, you're funneling these kids back into the area around them. Like specifically for CCC, if you go through their program and then they connect you to Newman University to finish your teaching degree, as long as you stay at Coffeyville for a few years, you get part of that,
Really?
paid back. I mean, it is a funneling system.
Anyway.
Well, how about promoting your community too by having successful people leave here? And, even if they don't want to stay here, if they're not from here, they come here and go to school and they leave and go back to where they're from. They're successful.
Even
they
if
still
they do go run for Canada during the Olympics.
exactly.
Yeah, what a Canuck. So the point of this is, if you're going to do it, don't half-ass it. But I'm convinced that it will be half-assed. Because we have
it's not happening.
It's already there. It's not going to happen. 10 years from now, we're still going to have 2 community colleges unless one just peters out. But we have a half-assed mindset around here. People like blah 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 blah. But I'm like, all right.
Somebody ought to do something.
Well, and I said, well, you going to do it? Well, I ain't got time. Exactly what I'm talking about. And before anybody says, well, what the fuck's he doing? Well, I can show you everything that I've done. I've served my time.
Yeah. Bio coming.
Yeah. So, for all those that are out there is like, well, he's doing nothing but sitting on that microphone talking a bunch of shit about people doing nothing, and he ain't doing nothing. You're right. I'm not doing anything currently, but I've done plenty, and I'm still doing stuff.
We're
Really?
doing things.
We're doing nothing?
Well,
Thanks.
You know what I mean. So anyway, suck
Done.
it. And just one little. Are we going to talk about COVID at all?
Yes, I've got so many
got
COVID
you.
notes.
Oh,
Don't let me
geez.
forget about.
Even though I'm
don't
the
let-
one who always complains about our COVID.
Don't let me forget about the local hospital and a leader's husband.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
So we're going to
That's a
take a
juicy
break,
one.
and you won't even realize we've done it. Be right back. And we're back. You didn't even know we left. It's a lot cooler in here now. It was getting
For about
greasy up in here, man.
5 minutes.
Greasy.
Crazy.
So, where was we?
Well, you asked if we had any COVID stories, and I'm the one who usually hates talking about COVID so much, but I'm the one who has all the COVID
Before you
stories.
do, I want to get something off my chest.
What'd you do?
Kind of goes along with the meme that I shared today or yesterday. So here locally, there's the hospital, and they put out a video, like all the hospitals are doing, encouraging folks to get the vaccine, to get the, to wear your mask and all that, conformist shit. Well, anyway, no, I'm not anti-vaccine. Calm down, Karen. But
That
anyway,
was last week's episode.
yeah, there's still Karens out there. They're listening. KIA's kid said Karen in action.
Yeah. There's
But-
Karening afoot.
Yes. So anyway, they had a deal on there, and of course, the comments, man, the comments. We always preach the comments. That's where it's at. That's the meat of Facebook is the comments. Headline readers are doing themselves a disservice. It's like the headline is just the bloom. You got to wait for it to bear fruit. So anyway, I'm going through the comments because, I want to comment as the wrong kind of podcast because, I'm using the Donnie Baker form of a social media attack. Just comment on everything.
Exactly.
Whatever
Bite
you
into
got.
that meaty flesh.
Whatever you got, So anyway, they're going through there, and of course, there's the, this and that, and there's the people that are pro and the people that are against, and the people that don't know what the hell they're talking about at all on both sides.
Oh, of course.
And then this one guy, he gets on there and says, and damn it, I wish I'd screenshot it because he went back and got rid of his comment. And when I get done telling this story, I think you'll understand why he got rid of his comment. So he got on there and said, I don't have it word for word anymore, but the gist of it was, maybe it's time for those that are unvaccinated to not be granted services at the hospital.
Oof.
So let's talk about that. That is a city-owned building. The hospital itself gets taxpayer money. So that, and then the board that runs the hospital is appointed by the city and a few other bodies. That's about as close to socialist medicine as you can get right down the road.
Right. Not to mention a doctor's Hippocratic oath.
Well, he's not a doctor.
Well, no, I meant, he
Just in
suggested.
general, though,
yeah.
he's
Well,
suggesting it.
Somebody brought that
Well,
up.
but there's a lot of doctors out there who are suddenly
Yeah, well,
Walking
there's a lot
away
of
from that.
doctors that ain't, if you know what I'm saying. But anyway, I was like, holy shit. That guy just said we should turn people away from the hospital. This guy As an obese man, I can say this. This man is obese. This man is going to go around and tell you how to take care of yourself and judge you and tell you can't have a fucking service because you don't understand health care.
I really understand the meme now.
Yes.
Please, everybody, please go look at that meme because it
Basically,
makes even more sense now.
What it
Yes.
comes down
Yes.
to is that fat people, I'm fat, I can say this. Fat people out there in the world are telling other people, you don't understand health. You don't even take care of yourself. You're stroking Twinkies and you're pounding Coke. Don't tell me about health care. I mean, we might find you laying in the driveway someday. Maybe me too, you know? But this is a community leader. Somebody do the parentheses in the air for me. Quotes, whatever they are. This is a community leader's. This is a community leader's husband, and I'm pretty sure she probably told him, "You better get that shit off there." And he did. He took it off there, but I saw it,
Damn quick too because you
sent
texted
it
me
as
and I
soon as
went
it-
right there.
It was
and that
gone.
shit was
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah, it was.
So before you go opening up your fucking face, remember, we've had this conversation. If you're a community leader, everything you say and your family does reflects on you. And if you're a fat bastard, don't go around telling people how to run their health care.
Right. Because like diamonds and herpes, the internet is forever.
That'd be like me giving you health advice. Hey, I've been noticing that you look like you're out of shape. Hold on, I'm going to stroke back this here this Monster Energy drink so I can wash down these ding dongs.
I like how you're stroking
I
everything.
know.
Yes.
What is that all about?
Well, you know, stroking it back.
Apparently you-
I'll be stroking.
No.
We got a couple beers in
No.
now, boys.
know,
This
listen-
podcast just got better.
Hey, the
No.
gears have been lubed, man.
Well,
Jeez.
I tell you what, a while ago when it got moist in here, it was getting greasy. Maybe that's what it was. It was like
Fancy.
lithium grease.
Why did you?
For those that are
open
still
that?
listening, for those people that are new, this is when the podcast gets good.
Listen, at this phase, you can't say anything without
No.
it getting construed, so don't judge me.
I've seen this
Accurate.
guy that got construed earlier. But anyway, go ahead with
Did
your
you?
stories.
God, what were you watching?
Go ahead, state law. Tell it all about it.
Oh, Megan, please save us.
Oh, I don't know if I can
My
after
notes
this.
my notes run deep. Go
Do
ahead.
they? So, well, I said I had all these COVID things, and Justin, I guess, segued for me. So, there is now a Mississippi law that is asking.
Can you spell Mississippi?
Yes, can you?
No.
Okay. Asking, quote unquote, as Justin says, air quotes or parentheses,
It's not parentheses, is it? Sorry.
if
I'm stupid.
when you have COVID, they're asking you to isolate, asking you, or you face up to a
Conform.
$5,000 fine and up to 5 years in prison.
Damn, son.
Hey, we're asking you nicely.
We're asking you nicely not to make us put you in jail.
Right.
Right.
Please don't make
How
us
about
jail you.
overcrowding in jails, right? Come on,
Oh,
people.
man,
How
remember-
about, how about that little juicy detail you told me when we was walking into the Walmart there earlier?
Oh yeah. So well, hold on. Let me finish with this. So if you will remember back in November. It all rhymes. Whatever. Go with it. Back in November or December, Justin and I went to our local police facility to
Oh, yeah.
get some
That was in November.
take care of some business. We
December.
weren't going to jail because we refused to isolate.
And you can hear this on the episode called "We Made the Naughty List."
That's right. And we were escorted out of the police station with our my, I guess, driver's license, insurance, whatever it was, held out by gloves and held out in front of him as the police officer walked out the door because, it might be contaminated.
like you guys are lepers.
Yes. Because somebody made a typo and put our date wrong. Well, my date wrong, I guess.
Our
on-
papers weren't in order.
Our
Right.
papers weren't in order. They were somebody made a typo, and instead of it saying November, it said December, which
Your
wouldn't have
papers,
even made
please.
sense at all. So Justin and I potentially could have ended up in jail.
Potentially.
Yes,
Oh, man. You guys could have got a big old fatty check.
that's true. Let's go to Mississippi. So yeah, earlier today I got a message from KDHE telling me,
Kansas Department of Health and Environment.
yes, how for my job, all the rules about quarantining and isolating and blah, blah, blah. Apparently, we're going back to isolating and not quarantining. Anyway, at the bottom, it said, you are exempt from this if you have had the vaccine, of course, right? Or if you've already had COVID. And it's the first time I've ever seen anything that says you are exempt from isolating again if you've already had COVID.
It's almost
Even
like
though that makes
somebody's
sense.
actually using real science. How you form antibodies, when you're sick, and then your body forms what they call antibodies
Right, exactly.
to help you fight off future illnesses.
You are now part of the herd.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were leading the herd.
Remember when we used to talk about that? Herd
Yeah.
immunity?
Yep.
That's when the herd all got scared because I don't know, man. The herd turned into dumbasses.
Wait, I have so much other stuff to say about this.
Back
So
at the COVID corral.
Oh,
I'm glad we're here.
damn it.
What? Are you going to try to find it? Because you'll do it as soon as I'm
It shut
starting the...
Oh.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, my program. Hold on.
Thanks. Jeez. You know he would have pushed that button as soon as I started
Yeah, of
talking the
course.
next one. So in Washington, there's Eatonville High School, and they are using taxpayer-funded ankle monitors
Oh,
to
yes.
track their student
The
athletes
football
Holy
players.
fuck,
Yep.
what?
for during the pandemic.
Yep.
Yes.
Where's
Yes.
this at?
Eatonville High School.
Is this real?
Yes. Eatonville High School in Washington. Taxpayer-funded ankle monitors to track their student athletes.
Yeah, it's to ensure social distancing.
Yeah. So they can contact trace.
Come on,
If.
man. Did you ever think that this was what was going to do it?
So clearly there are like parents who are outraged, right?
Right.
Because their kids
Oh,
look like they're all on probation.
I'd
or on
cut that
or
fucker off and stick it in somebody's ass.
One
You know.
unnamed mother was said that she received a text message revealing
Oh, yeah,
that
they
the
didn't even
team
know.
coach was asking her child to put on an ankle monitor. The teen did not answer the mother's follow-up text or calls. The mother assumed she was playing during practice and attempted to contact the school via phone. No one at the school is able to answer her questions about the monitor, so she drove to the building. So could you imagine when the
Whoa.
mom gets there and her daughter looks like a felon?
they swear that they got parent okay, to
Consent?
do this, but clearly not because she didn't even know anything about it. Come on, people. Come on.
Wow.
So not only has your taxpayers funded ankle monitors for the student athletes,
So
they're walking around looking like they're all in house arrest.
check this out. So the coach said that the school reportedly handed out opt-out forms during the previous week's meeting, but the unnamed mom said that she never received any such forms, nor was she ever made aware of the program.
Wow.
So you had to opt out of it.
Which, hey, you know what? You know what else has to do that? Every sex ed program across the nation in any public school. Mm-hmm. You have to opt out. You don't opt in, you opt out. Same thing with our health clinic here in the school. If you don't want your kids to be seen by their dental people that they bring in, you can opt out, but you don't opt in. Happens all the time.
Don't call us.
We'll call you.
Wait, I have one more about COVID stuff.
Yeehaw!
Thanks. So
You called it.
in Ohio, because I know how much Justin loves Ohio.
God damn you people, man. Sorry if you're listening from Ohio. Prove me wrong.
Them
This won't
people.
help. This won't
Oh,
help.
Here we go.
So a judge, okay, there was a man who was in court because he was associated with someone who had fentanyl related compounds.
Sweet.
He was associated with. He didn't have it. He was associated with.
Oh.
Okay.
Guilt
So-
by association.
Right. So the judge told him he had two options. First option, 18 months jail time. Second option, probation and the COVID vaccine.
Oh, good God,
Oh.
man.
It all
man.
depends on whether he gets the
Wow.
vaccine or not. If he gets the vaccine, he gets probation. If he does not, he goes to jail for 18 months.
What the hell?
Everybody, according to the reports and the video that I watched, everybody in the courtroom, defendants, prosecutors, everyone was just silent. Like, did we
Wow,
really
talk
just
about an agenda.
did we really just go there?
So I saw an article the other day that I actually sent to the Podfather, and it was called "Soups for Shots." I forget exactly where
Is
it
this
was.
a Jerry
at.
Seinfeld?
No,
No soup
I,
for
I-
you.
I forget where it was actually at. I could find the article, but a prison you know, and they're what do you call it? It's the commissary, is that what it is? Where so prisoners, you know,
I see. They get extra.
they have stuff. They can get stuff, and a lot of times they keep it in their prison wallet, as Donnie Baker would say. So what they was doing is, if you get the vaccine, they was offering packs of ramen noodles, and they was calling the program soups for shots.
Wow.
Yeah,
That doesn't
man.
seem worth it, man. Freaking ramen. Of course,
Well,
I guess
don't
if you're
know.
in prison,
I
you
mean,
know.
how much is your butt worth? It may be worth. Hey, hold on, here's some ramen noodles there, big guy. Okay, I'll come back next week.
Exactly. Trade you a day's rest for some
Yeah.
beef ramen.
No shit. Yeah,
Jeez.
it might be the only beef there is. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Damn.
Oh, man.
How do you guys
Shit.
manage to turn it all?
Well, it's a skill, Megan. You see,
I know.
we're men, first of all.
Yeah, manly man.
Jeez.
That's some good beer.
I have. Justin said save screenshot. Do you know what screenshot I was supposed to read?
Well, how many screenshots you got that pertain to the podcast?
I don't know. Hold on. Let me see.
You got a lot of screenshots?
Oh, I bet it's this one. Okay.
Is it about COVID?
I don't think so. Not necessarily.
Oh.
Okay. Remember the abusive husband?
Oh, yes.
Yes. Okay.
She's going to read this deal.
Yancey,
Okay.
listen up. Okay.
Nancy hasn't heard it.
He is not. So, Yancey, does this sound abusive to you? My friend's husband won't let her visit any friends or family. He has made her stop all contact with them unless it's on the phone
I've
or
thought about doing that myself.
the computer. Sorry, Mom. He reads and censors all of her comments on social media, and he makes her feel like she's going
They
crazy.
probably have a joint account.
They might.
Joke.
He just call him right out. He makes her feel like she's going crazy for thinking that he's controlling and that she's just being ungrateful to him. After all, he's only doing this because of how much he cares about her.
Right. Narcissist, huh?
Fucking man.
He doesn't want her to go to the gym anymore, so she doesn't go. He doesn't let her work anymore. He told her she only gets to rely on him for income and that he will take care of her.
Yeah, some women would welcome all this, you know?
She's not really allowed to go out anymore at all unless it's for necessities. And when she does, he makes sure that like people guilt trip her about it, and he shames her for it. And yeah, can you imagine any woman just kind of standing for that? Like, I'm thinking of
I know
myself and Yancey's wife.
I know.
Yeah, not happening.
Love you, Des. That's
Yeah,
so funny that
not
you
happening.
thought of my wife.
He wants her.
She would kill me in my
Gets
sleep.
better
Right?
here.
He wants her to have this medical procedure done and tells her that if she does it, he will allow her more freedoms because she could,
Reward system.
yes. He constantly says that he's only doing this because he cares and he's just doing it for her own good. Does that sound abusive?
Yeah.
Like an asshole.
Okay. So did I say that this was the husband? I meant the government.
Think about all that shit. Think about all that shit. She had me. She got me.
Nice.
Oh,
was
he was
like,
mad.
man.
He was like, do we know this person? He was ready to go.
I was like, man, what a fucking asshole. And she's
Right.
like, yeah, well, I'm talking about the government.
Well,
damn.
Your assessment was fair. What a fucking asshole the government is.
That's what they're doing.
yeah.
That's what they're
That's
doing.
it.
That
It's
and their-
crazy.
that and their woke crowd.
And it's funny
Yep.
because if we
The
saw
fat
this
healthcare
happening in a
professionals.
household, we would be like, we would quietly go up to the woman and say, when you're ready to leave,
Yeah.
we will get you out.
Yeah.
Contact us.
That is exactly what they're doing. They're using peer pressure. They're using fear tactics. If you get a goddamn shot, I won't
Right.
put you in jail for a
A
year and a
reward
half.
system. Hey, we'll cut you a little check here, throw you a bone.
Did you see the Supreme Court overruled Biden's eviction moratorium?
Yep, I saw that.
There's not much talk about that, but that is a huge deal.
Yeah.
That's a huge deal. I got a feeling all those help wanted jobs are going to be filled pretty quick.
Yep. Well, I mean, what other choice do people have? Living on the street?
So
Boy,
does
that
this
guy.
mean that all that money that was put on hold because they couldn't kick you out because you weren't paying,
You still owe it.
you still owe it?
I believe so.
How long do they have to give you a certain amount of time to pay it?
I don't know. I may be talking out my ass on that, but let's think about that for a minute. You don't pay your
I
landlord.
can't imagine just
because
not
the-
owing a landlord. Like somebody
Well,
there like,
but hold on. So we talked about this last year when it happened. They've sent me home. They've shut down my job.
Sure.
I get it. I got no money. Damn, what am I going to do? Well, Trump stepped in and did the eviction moratorium. And I agreed at the time that was probably a good deal because, hold on, we don't know what we're getting ready to get into. That was
You don't
18,
want-
20 months ago. Now we know it's just a bunch of bullshit. But anyway, you don't want people just out walking the streets,
Right.
you know? But guess what? The landlord probably has a lien on that house. He needs to pay somebody. So not only did he not get his money, the bank
Taxes,
didn't get
all
his
that.
money. which a lot of those banks are selling their loans to the Fannie Mac and all that.
Yeah.
Fannie Mae or whatever the
Yeah.
hell it is, Bernie Mac or whatever.
Right,
it is.
I don't.
Freddie Mac.
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
our mortgage company, like you said, like they would have. I mean, did that eviction moratorium, did it apply to mortgages as well, or just
Well,
renters?
they even did it here to where you could only pay the. Remember, we only had to pay interest.
Yeah, I
Because
know,
they sent
but
me home for a month.
but
and
it
we're like,
wasn't-
hey, let's just pay the interest for a month. We don't know what the hell's getting ready to happen here.
right, but that wasn't like a continued thing.
No,
I can't imagine
right back
just
to paying
not
our
paying
bill.
the bank for
No, we
what,
didn't,
a year and a half now.
Because what we was worried about was that we didn't know what was going to happen.
Right, that was
and
at
a month
very
later, I
beginning of
became
it.
essential as fuck, and now we're in the middle of a union contract, and I want to remind them how essential I am.
Right. Well, you got to think that there's going to be garnishments or something once that person does maybe eventually go back to work, or if they're on some kind of assistance, they're probably going to garnish that, or take a chunk out of that to pay the landlord. Or
I fully expected that Biden would somehow, we'll cover your rent for,
right,
you know what I mean?
bottomless pit
Which
of
I
money.
guess, I mean, honestly, he did, not he, Trump.
You sure he's
All
a
of-
he still? Has
No.
Biden changed his gender yet?
I know.
He said,
You know,
President they.
Well, he's
all
definitely
the
a pussy.
what's that called? The stimulus checks that came out
Mm-hmm.
probably were supposed to go for paying up some of those bills. I would
Yeah,
assume.
well, but instead you gotta go out and get that sweet ass big screen TV
Or a
And-
PlayStation 5.
Right, those
Jeez.
big ugly wheels to put on your truck.
PlayStation 5 is $1,000.
Hey, no, I'm gonna be on the
Is it seriously?
PS4 for quite some time.
Yeah, I was looking at it the other day thinking, I wonder how much PlayStation 4 is. I was even talking about, well, I'm glad you paid attention to me. And I was like,
Were you
damn.
talking about it to me?
Yeah, I'm sure it was. I was like, damn, I'm going to be using this for a while.
No, you were talking
Oh.
to me, and she was a bystander. That's what we were playing the other
I
day.
do tend to.
Whatever. By the way,
Thank
if
you. He expects me to pay attention when he's clearly talking to you on the stupid games.
by the way,
The stupid games. I
there it
take
is.
offense
That's
to
abuse.
that.
That's abuse.
Wow.
So this, if you listen out there and you play Wreckfest,
Mm-hmm.
which you got to be on PlayStation to play with us on Wreckfest.
Yeah, it's not cross-platform now.
But then Call of Duty, which we ain't played in a couple weeks, we play.
Well, the
quite a bit on
game
there.
modes suck now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Have you been on there lately, though? Have they added anything cool on there?
Not since that one time we said no, that the payload was gone. So
Yeah.
which that was starting to get a little boring.
Yeah.
You can only kill so many people. So how about Biden screwing up Afghanistan? You want to talk about that at all?
Yes.
Yeah, I got a little bit on
No,
there.
go ahead.
I don't have any notes about it. I just sure we can talk about it.
Thanks
gonna
for,
say all of it.
Just bring it
I
up.
did.
Like, damn,
I know,
man.
and then he dropped it. I did hear that there were, and I haven't watched the news or read the news or anything about it since then, but a source that I would call reliable said that there were 7 suicide bombers leaving somewhere to head to the airport this morning. I don't know if they made it there. Don't know if anything
Here's
happened.
here's what I don't understand. Biden says we're going to find you and get you. I think you can find them on the side of the building because they blew themselves up.
Jeez, Justin.
I'm just saying, who the hell is he going to track down?
I don't know. On the other side of that, though, all of our intelligence is gone now. So, like from that area. So, even if you are going to hunt and find them,
And he's
how?
even admitted that they
We're
left people behind that Americans aren't going to be able to get out.
Yeah.
There
Stranded Americans.
There are some veterans who are working to create their own missions to go in and save.
Right,
some.
yeah. Special ops guys that
Yes.
are going in and saving people.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
the guy from The Office,
What's his name?
Oh.
Kaczynski or whatever his name is.
Oh,
don't think it's
John Krasinski.
Oh.
I thought you were talking about the Michael Scott character. What's his name? The James Bond type guy. What was his name? Johnny Midnight or whatever the hell his
Jeez.
name.
Johnny Midnight.
Sounds like a porn name.
Actually, your porn name is
no.
your middle name and your first car.
Yeah, so Alan Monte Carlo is mine.
I'm Ray Cordoba.
You're a bunch of dorks.
So there's been on a more serious note here, there's been a Marine that demanded senior leaders accept responsibility for Afghanistan. He has now been removed from his position. Marine Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Scheller was relieved for cause after demanding that senior U.S. leaders hold themselves accountable for actions made during the U.S. military's withdrawal from Afghanistan that led to the deaths of 13 service members. Officials have confirmed to Fox News on Thursday that 11 Marines, an Army soldier, and a Navy corpsman were killed in explosions near Kabul's airport Thursday. Another 169 Afghans were killed, according to 2 officials who spoke to the Associated Press. So back to this Scheller guy. He is a father of 3 who's been in the USMC infantry for 17 years.
Jeez.
And he mentioned senior military leaders, including Marine Commandant General David H. Berger, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff General Mark A. Milley, whom he said are supposed to advise. So he's saying, I'm not saying we need to be in Afghanistan forever, but I am saying, did any of you throw your rank on the table and say, hey, it's a bad idea to evacuate Bagram Airfield, a strategic air base, before we evacuate everyone? So, I mean, he's calling these guys out publicly, and he got the boot.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's great.
So, I mean, it goes back to that greatest form of dissent.
The world is hanging this on Joe Biden. This is Joe Biden's fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
There was
come
actually
on.
some guy over in England, which is England, said that Biden shouldn't be impeached, that he is the commander-in-chief, and that he should be court-martialed.
Oh,
Well, yeah, I mean, he is a military leader.
Yeah, essentially, he is in charge of the
Right.
military.
Exactly. He's the head dick.
He's the commander-in-chief.
Yep.
it's just so crazy to me that we have. I mean, first of all,
We didn't hear anything about ISIS during Trump's time.
that we left all these people there knowing that they were there, not just American citizens, but all these people who were, interpreters and all these helpers, because you know that
Right.
their time is limited.
But
if
the
they're not out
Taliban
soon.
says they're not going to retaliate
Oh,
against
right.
those people. You
Tali-
know, you
Sure.
know their word is good as gold.
Taliban.
Yeah.
And now one of those assholes in Washington has said that they called the Taliban our partners.
Oh God.
So we're now allies with the
Partners.
terrorists.
Our Taliban partners are helping us look for the ISIS-K. Which, what the fuck is the ISIS-K?
Dude, I think at this point in time they're just trying all this misdirection stuff. You know.
Well, you very well could say that the whole thing was set up. This is for you, Wizard. The whole thing was set up to be a distraction for the liberties that they're just raping here in America.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. It's just crazy. And on the other side of that, not only that we left all these people here, but we left all this equipment here. So those guys who are just taking the Blackhawks for joyrides and
Trolling the hell out of us on the internet.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
come
You know,
on.
reenacting Iwo Jima.
Oh, that's,
Yes.
that's worth an ass whipping right there.
Man. So now Biden isn't denying reports that the U.S. was handing over names of Americans to the Taliban. Did you see that?
I actually saw the story.
what?
So what they did, and Yancey might correct me here, but what they did, which is stupid, is they said, hey, Taliban, these are the people that we're going to be evacuating, just so you
Right.
know. Oh, great. Thanks for letting us know who to kill.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, it said officials in his administration had provided names of Americans at Afghanistan to the Taliban in order to help them usher the people to safety at the airport.
Show title. I sure
Okay.
could use a mean tweet right now.
So, yeah, I'm sorry. So we were fully aware that the Taliban was going to come in and take over Afghanistan when we left.
Yeah, there's always a power vacuum.
And instead of getting everyone out and then leaving, however that would have happened, we said, okay, we're leaving, and here's the rest of the people that we're going to be looking for or trying to get out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Biden.
And ISIS is it.
idiot.
You know what?
Taliban and ISIS are not the same thing. Is that right?
Right.
No, they're not the same.
Yeah,
They're
two
like
separate
they're
entities.
like really weird cousins
Yeah, like kissing cousins.
with sheep and goats.
Yeah. So I found something ironic the other day when I was seeing those assholes riding around our Humvees and wearing our, fatigues and stuff. So the Russians fought the Taliban in the 80s and left all their shit behind when they tucked tail and got out of there. So we were fighting the Taliban and they were using Russian weapons. Now there's reports that the Russians are going to go back into Afghanistan. And how ironic is that they're going to be fighting the Taliban using our weapons?
Have you also noticed all the pictures that you're seeing of these son of a bitches and and their trigger awareness.
Oh yeah, you could tell they're American trained because they have a lot of trigger
discipline.
safety. Yep.
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know,
Straight finger.
you're trained to have your finger pointed down the rifle because you don't want your finger on the trigger because you don't put your finger on the trigger until you're ready to pull.
Right.
But all these pictures they showed of the Taliban in the past, they're just hugging the hell out of the trigger,
Exactly.
you know. Well,
Shooting AKs in the air and
now
shit.
suddenly they've got M16s and they got their finger discipline just working great.
And they're very familiar with that weapons platform too. Of course,
Oh,
it doesn't take a genius to figure out the AR platform, but
well, what happened was, you know, there's however many thousand people in the Afghan military, and as soon as their leader shagged ass, oh hey,
Yeah,
I am
geez.
now loyal to the Taliban.
right.
Rip off that flag and get me a
Where's
different one.
that guy?
That guy's probably living it up someplace, man.
He should not be.
That's well, no, should he? Like we talked about a couple weeks ago, he's an old crony from the old Carlisle group days, man.
Yeah, but
They put his ass in there. He's took care of them for 20 years, and I'm telling you now, I like a conspiracy theory. They said, hey, man, you need to get your fucking ass out of there. Now, we're going to blame you for some shit, but we're going to take care of you because nobody's going to give a shit after that. I mean, hell, that's been 4 or 5 days ago.
Yeah,
Jeez.
people have already forgot about that guy. The train has rolled on.
Yeah, because there's going to be a much bigger shit pile coming our way pretty soon. Nobody's going to give a hell about you at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in some country right now at a 5-star hotel having his toenails worked on.
not where I thought you
No.
were going with this.
Well, I was
Like,
going
you want
to.
happy ending?
I kind of was, but I took one of those hard rights, you know, right before the exit.
Oh, yeah.
Like that
Yeah,
mean,
nice.
yeah.
What's the end game here? Are we all
The
we're
end
going
game,
to war?
The end game is so that Raytheon and Lockheed Martin and all them can fire back up the machine. The man up there on that plate right behind you referred to what's going on today. It's called the military-industrial complex.
Okay.
Trump got made fun of and said that he was an isolationist because his plan for the world was, let's come home, let's strengthen our military, and let's sit back and watch and decide who needs to reach out and get kicked in the ass.
Oh, wow. What a concept.
It's a concept. And we'll have just a few bases all around the world that are strong, and we can be able to strike from anywhere.
Right. Instead of spreading ourselves so thin that we're in every single country around the world and have a base in every single country.
But dumbasses
you know?
like Biden, and I've said this before, every time the Democrats are in charge, the rich get richer. It's because now we're going to go to war. They also screw up they cut off all your drilling rights and everything and all the pipeline deals. Well, now guess what? Your gas is right back up. And like I've said before, they didn't hire anybody else to do it. And there wasn't suddenly a big pay increase in roughnecks and refinery workers. So guess what happened? The rich guys just get richer.
Yep.
Democrats.
And
Well,
now
you-
we're going to be fighting for oil again. Is that Afghanistan? Do we fight for oil there?
Nah,
that's
Not so
they
much.
got
more
their
about the
opium.
Iraq
Opium,
region.
yeah.
So you had mentioned the military industrial complex. So Boeing has unveiled advanced F-15 jets for Qatar Air Force. Boeing is building jets for Qatar. Now, I'm not sure if you know anything about Qatar, but they play a lot of both sides of the fence. And this is the most advanced F-15
It's a
ever.
guitar cutter.
Either way. Yeah,
Yeah.
Qatar, Qatar. It depends on who you ask,
All right.
you know.
Starts with a Q. It's fucked up.
Yeah. So they were awarded a $6.2 billion contract for the F-15QA in 2017. As per the contract, the Qatar Emery Air Force will procure 36 of these aircraft, delivery for which is expected to begin later this year. What great timing! So the number of aircraft to be supplied this year has not been revealed, although Boeing did confirm that it began pre-delivery pilot training earlier this year. So they at least have a couple or a few over there.
Wow.
Yeah. Just same cycle again, over and over.
I know.
I
This
sure
is what will
could
be,
use
right?
some mean tweets right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I know war's never going to end, but it just seems like,
Honestly?
you know, do we have to spur it along?
Here's something that's ironic. As soon as we went back to essentially the Obama administration or the continuation of,
We went back to
we
our...
went right back to normal, where we're always fighting somebody. We're always having a suicide bomber. Hey, by the way, you ain't drink your wicked pickle yet. Don't let's forget that. We're into the hour 12. We're right back exactly where we was at. Every time.
I had a student today who was commenting on like wars in the past were always kind of centered around industrialized things, but he, in his mind, he was studying like kind of what's going on and what's been going on since I don't know when he started, but he was saying that like now he's thinking that everything is, all the wars are based around ideological issues as opposed to like industrialized.
How young is this young man?
He's a junior.
His history isn't very long. I think they're all ideological with a lot of financial based motives.
Yeah, I mean, the assessment a few years ago would be that we wouldn't be fighting physical wars anymore, that we'd be
Right.
fighting nothing but proxy wars.
Well,
however,
hello, COVID.
Can't make no money off that.
right. Well, the proxy wars are
conspiracy theory,
still
isn't it?
being fought behind the scenes, and I feel like the physical wars are just a front.
So there had to be money involved in World War II. It wasn't just ideology.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. JD could probably come in here and knock pictures off the wall and tell us about it.
Well,
But it was ideology.
It was ideology, but then he also stole all the treasures from all over Europe. So
Sure.
it clearly was about money.
Sure. But, you know, the what would you call that?
Well, the ideology-
momentum part of it, the way to get people on board
right.
is to what's that word? Like to compile the people who have the same ideologies.
It's called a
right?
cult.
So, like Seattle. Is that Seattle? That had the little downtown area of like, this was their
Chaz.
Chaz, like their own little ideology of like, this is what the world was going to be like. Didn't work out so well for them, but that's what they tried. You know,
There was
Well,
murders in the middle of Chaz.
Hitler was an ideologue. If you ever have read any of his ramblings and his writings, anything in Mein Kampf, I mean,
Yeah.
he was he was a screwed up individual. His process of thinking, of blaming an entire race of people for things that happened in Austria where he grew up, him physically, and a lot of his shortcomings as a person.
So-
and then him fighting a psychological war as a front to
Right.
destroy these people. He had the German people. You're
So
like,
convinced.
how do you convince millions of people? Well, he played the long game, and he
Yeah.
played it really well. And there was a very small minority of people who disagreed with him.
Some people are saying that we're seeing that now.
yeah.
You got people that are convinced that those that are unvaccinated
Right.
are pieces of shit. Mm-hmm. Now, I know some pieces of shit that are unvaccinated,
Well-
but you're not a piece of shit just because you're unvaccinated.
Speaking of Austria, look what Arnold Schwarzenegger said.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Yeah.
I made the point. This guy's literally from Austria, and he's making these
Yeah.
Yeah.
statements like "screw your
That's what
freedom."
he said. Screw your freedom. His
Well-
words.
And I know that people are saying that that's taken out of context. We had a discussion with a guy we know about it being taken out of context. It's not really taken out of context. In a summary, that's what he said. He
Yeah, that's
tried
exactly
to
what he
justify
said.
it in any way. He said, there's people out there. He makes the argument that any other, leftist is going to make. Arnold doesn't like to identify as that.
Vaccine mandates, right?
Right, exactly. These mandates, and he's writing out the pity party about everything, and then he says at the end, basically wear your mask, screw your freedom.
Your freedom's not worth other people's health. And that's the part of it that's really crazy is like, of course I wasn't alive when all the Hitler stuff happened, but like, what did he say to them to make them go along with him?
Well, he
like,
had
what
to-
was the fear
he had to
of that
cr-
particular people?
He had to create his own reality.
And people just jumped in line. I mean,
Well,
not jumped in line.
If you don't know, if you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but you're constantly gaslighted, told what the truth is, the perceived truth, you're going to start believing that shit after a while.
He made a lot of cases that the Jewish oligarchy was a ruling class
Right.
in Austria, and that they had basically victimized a lot of white people there, and that these he convinced the German people almost to turn on the Jews. So he was playing both sides at the beginning. He was saying, I'm protecting you to the Jews. Get on these trains.
Right. I'm going to protect you. Oh, you
Right.
mean like I have to wear these masks? And I know
Right,
it's not the
exactly.
same thing.
I have to
I
wear
am
this
not
ankle
at all
bracelet?
saying that wearing a mask or an ankle bracelet or anything like that is
Or show
is-
your papers to get anything.
that is right up those lines, but I'm not comparing it to like the gas chambers. You know what I'm saying? But 18 months jail or
Right.
probation and get the COVID vaccine? Come
Well,
on.
Hitler didn't cut down the tree with one swipe
Right.
either. He had to chop at it.
Yeah.
Things start somewhere.
Something's definitely going on in the world. Hey, the internet must be listening because I just got a message here from
course
one
it
of
is.
our producers.
Oh.
CDC study finds 78% of COVID-19 hospitalizations were people overweight or obese. I'm just going to leave that out there.
It goes back to what you were talking about earlier.
Eating
Hey, speaking of
Cheetos.
protecting rights, so Missouri, hold on, let me read it so I get it right. They there's a new law in place that's supposed to preserve the Second Amendment. Okay.
There's a law that
Yes.
preserves a law.
Oh, I don't want that. I am not drinking that. That is disgusting.
You don't even know.
I do.
How do you know?
That pickle juice last week was
Well,
nasty.
this is different pickle juice. Read your deal, then we'll talk about
Okay.
this. Your,
So they have Missouri court has struck
Damn.
down a law to
just about COVID.
oppose the Second Amendment
Oh.
Preservation Act. So Missouri House Bill 85, known as the Second Amendment Preservation Act, was signed into law in June. The city of St. Louis County, and Jackson County all filed a preliminary injunction. So a judge struck down the request for the injunction today. And so the new law takes effect on August 28th, and there are legal penalties if specific provisions are not enacted. So this new law prohibits state and local cooperation with federal officials that attempt to enforce any laws, rules, orders, or actions that violate the Second Amendment rights of Missourians. You have to have a law to protect your Second Amendment right.
A law
You have
upon
a
a law.
to protect your law.
Yeah. So the U.S. Justice Department is, of course, saying that the new law is an attempt at nullification of federal gun laws.
That reminds me of the law that Stitt signed to protect your right to not have to wear a mask.
Right.
You,
That is now being
you almost
stepped
feel
on over.
like that's grandstanding. Like
It is
he's
grandstanding.
just trying to justify his worth
It is grandstanding.
by saying, "Hey, look at me! I'm here fighting for your rights. That's why I am enacting yet another law where there isn't a law needed
reason
because
for
there's
it.
already one in place."
Yeah.
I'd like to just. Are you done?
Well, I was just going to say that some of the people are already saying that. Let me try this again. The Missouri State Highway Patrol has now withdrawn 3 troopers from ATF task forces. Columbia Police withdrew 4 officers from ATF. Johnson County
Whoa.
withdrew 1 deputy from the ATF. O'Fallon Police pulled 2 officers with canines from ATF task force. Sedalia pulled 2 officers from ATF. So it's all because of this law. So it's having some